Yum, 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 yum.
Welcome to S at the Majestic. S stands for social, sophisticated, sexy. All of those words apply to this brand new addition to the downtown St. John's dining scene. Inside, you'll find a dining room that is modern, sleek, and sophisticated, and the food here is pretty darn good too. Hello, I'm Karl Wells, food critic and food journalist.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
And Steve, I'm really delighted that we're here at S at the Majestic because it is one of my favorite restaurants.
So much so, Karl, I believe you put it at the top of your top 10 list this year in the Telegram.
Indeed I did, and wait till you taste these appetizers that we're going to start off with. Now we've got a busy show. We have a wonderful young man on the program today who just launched his own television series on the HGTV channel, 11:30 in the evening on Mondays.
And that's Ambrose Price with the decorating adventures of Ambrose Price, I believe.
Yes, and I saw his first show.
I wonder what he would think of the decorations here, Karl.
Well, he would love them actually, and he'd especially love all of these little multi-level dining.
Yeah, I can see that. Here. Yeah, for sure.
But his first show was really, really good, and I know it's going to be a big hit.
Perfect.
Also, we're going to take you folks to a place called Sanipro. That may not sound too exciting on the surface.
But it's one of my favourite places, Karl.
And why is it?
Because of all the kitchen equipment that's there. It's not just a wholesale place just for chefs, although chefs dominate the place, don't get me wrong. But it's for everybody, even some wholesale places and retail for yourself.
And regular cooks like myself and you folks, you can go there as well. You're going to want to see the tour that we're going to give you. Now, we've got great food here, as I mentioned. What do you have?
I have a beautiful porcini crusted beef tenderloin with a beautiful horseradish cream, and Karl with your scallops.
Oh well, look, seafood. This is amazing for a seafood lover. We've got polenta cake on the bottom, double smoked bacon and spinach in the middle, and sautéed scallops on top with a little bit of sprouts on top as decoration. And we've also got a tapenade, olive tapenade on the plate.
Let's dig in, Karl.
Amazing. Let's dig in, start our engines, and get this show on the road.
Perfect.
It's okay to ask for maybe 1 or 2 changes to addition a restaurant, like hold the gravy, but when you get into asking for 4 or 5 changes, you're better off ordering something else. Well, last year I had the pleasure of meeting and writing about our next guest. He is the newest star of the Home and Garden Television Network, and one of these days he's going to be even bigger than Homes on Homes. Welcome to One Chef One Critic, Ambrose Price. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Karl.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Ambrose.
Thanks for having me.
So, Ambrose, I should mention to the folks, Ambrose, of course, has a new show on HGTV called The Decorating Adventures of Ambrose Price. We're going to do a little food adventure with you today, though.
Yes.
And Steve heard that you like codfish. So,
I
Steve?
love codfish, and unfortunately for me, I can't jig cod out of Lake Ontario.
No, unfortunately from fortune. Anyway,
Yeah.
there you go. So what I've going to make for you today, Ambrose, I'm going to make you a nice poached cod with a little bit of white wine, but we're going to make a nice cheese sauce to go over it with some nice boiled minty potatoes and some sautéed green beans with red peppers. So let's get started. So first of all, what I've got here, I've got this nice pan here, and I've just lightly buttered that. So to the bottom of there, I'm just going to sprinkle some onions, like so. Not too many.
Onions and cod, that's good.
Yeah, and then beautiful fresh fillets of cod, straight out of the water. Then we're just going to lay them like so, very delicately. And there's not one. That's how fresh they are. Just smell that. Gorgeous.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting point, because if fish smells fishy, it's not fresh.
Not fresh at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Really?
Carl. Exactly.
That's true, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there we go.
It should smell of the ocean. Do you want me to turn that burner on, by the way?
I think we should turn it on now, because I just didn't want to start frying, because what we are doing, Karl, as I said, we're poaching. So.
Okay, so you don't need... Poaching means it doesn't actually come to a boil.
No, you just...
Almost there.
Not even to a simmer, you just want to hold it off a little bit, especially with fish, because it's very delicate. So what I'm doing there, Ambrose, just putting a little bit of pepper on there, like so. And then we'll just put some nice chopped parsley on there for some colour, like that. And then Karl's favourite, We'll put a little bit of white wine on there as well.
Oh, lovely.
So that's nice.
Now, what do you put white wine on the fish? Anything?
Because red will turn it pink.
Pink. Yeah. exactly.
And it'll look like salmon.
There you go. So we've got that ready there now.
I love cooking with wine, and sometimes I even put food in it.
So as you can see, that's nice and ready there now. And
Here
we go. So our cod's going to be there. It's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to
So you're
cook.
just going to poach it in the wine?
Just poach it in the wine. And what we're going to do with that cooking liquor, the pot liquor afterwards, we're going to add that to the cheese sauce, you see. So there'll be some onions and parsley in colour there. So we've got our next pot on here now. Now that is quite warm, so I'll put some butter in there and we're going to be making the cheese sauce. So,
Ambrose, I'm just going to ask you, for folks who haven't seen your show, just tell us briefly what it's about.
Well, the show is called The Decorating Adventures of Ambrose Price, and it's about me, and I'm in Toronto, and each show is a different challenge. So it could be something about gardening, cake decorating, interior design, floral arranging, just about anything you can think about, I'm doing it. So each week I go on an adventure. So just say if it was floral design, for instance,
Right.
I would go on all these adventures, learn from the best in the industry, and as I learn, the audience gets to learn.
That's right.
And at the end of my adventure, I execute what I've learned. So these are, I can do it or I can't. So
Okay, and sometimes you can't?
you know what? No one's perfect.
Yeah,
Carl.
that's
No one's perfect, not even me.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I can do it. Other times there's things that
So you take people along on the adventure with you.
I do.
And you have a lot of fun doing it. I know you do.
Oh,
so do you help people out when you're doing these adventures?
oh yes.
Well, he's standing
course.
around. Come on, let's get
You know
started.
what? I learned from. So I stir this.
Yeah, and we're just going to add a little bit of flour, and that's going to be our thickening agent for our cheese sauce.
Okay. So this is just butter and flour.
Butter
right?
and flour, and, and
Okay.
we're making a roux then, you see, so...
Yeah, so I learn from people, but people also learn from me, believe it or not. you know?
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm sure they do.
we all learn from each other.
So what's the most interesting adventure or challenging adventure that you went on?
Well, I got to be honest. I'm going to have to say when I done high-rise window cleaning,
Okay.
it continues to stick out in my mind, and
Yeah.
I continue to talk about it. It was terrifying
You
because
just carry on stirring, I'm just going to add some milk into that.
So had you had a fear of heights before you did this?
I'm just no good with heights, and 3 steps up the ladder, I climb up.
Yeah.
So that's it was very terrifying. But
So were you in a situation where you kind of felt you had to do it for the
Yes.
sake of the show?
well, I had to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
My director was like,
Been
you're
there.
doing this. You're doing
Yeah.
this.
I used to have a fear of heights as well, but I did so many things on television over the years that had to do with climbing fire ladders and things like that. I eventually overcame my fear.
Yeah. Well, I think I overcame my fear after that day because, well, I got up there, but I had to come back down.
Yeah. So you mentioned cake decorating. Have you actually done any food adventures?
Well, I haven't done any food adventures, but I would love to. I think it would be a lot of fun.
So we'll have to wait now for the
For
food
the
adventures.
yes, yeah. We'll do the decorating first, and then we'll take the cooking.
I know some chefs who you could work under, that's for sure.
So am I stirring this correctly?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's coming on there, so...
And this is called, what did you say this is called again?
When it was just the butter and the flour in there, it's called a roux, and we're only just cooking it through lightly, you see, so we don't colour it.
Okay.
And
A bit lumpy.
no, it'll all come out.
It will?
It will
Okay.
all come out.
Yeah, when you add the liquid, it'll...
So
It looks
yeah.
like when I try to make gravy thick.
Yeah.
Never worked very well.
So you've been living up in Toronto now for over a year.
Yeah, I'm living in Toronto.
And how has that been, living in the big city?
I miss home. It's nice, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there, and
Yeah.
it's great for my career.
Yeah.
But I do miss home. It's,
Yeah.
You know, I got on the plane to come back home. I was just holding back tears the whole way home.
Yeah.
You know, just because I was so excited to get back home. And as soon as I busted through the airport, I could breathe. I was like, and I
A
think
breath of fresh air.
3 days after, I was coughing smog off my lungs.
Yeah.
Carl, if I can just get you to put some of that butter in there, and we
Sure,
can saute
yeah.
the beans off.
I
as
will
well.
do that.
Okay.
Thank you. Just one knob?
The one, just the one knob there, that's
Okay.
perfect. And as you can see there, we've got the potatoes over there with the fresh mint and
They look really
the
nice,
aroma
yeah.
that's come through there, and all that flavour's actually gone into the potatoes.
Yep.
So.
So how high is this cod on?
This is on about number 4, and then we'll turn it down. Let's just have a quick peek. Oh, it's coming on now. Look, you just starting to
Wow.
see it.
There we
go.
And then, Karl, maybe we can just pop the beans in there as well into that
boy.
nice buttered
All
beans,
fresh
lots of
and some sweet peppers.
I'll give it a little bit of colour there, you see. So.
Yeah.
Smells delicious.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great meal. There we go.
So what are these little things here?
Okay, what we've got there, Ambrose, when we plate the meal up, these are called fleurons. It's very traditional, French actually, and they're just made out of puff pastry, and they're just like a crescent shape, and we'll put that on top of the sauce, and that'll absorb some of the sauce from the fish for you, see.
So it's decorative, plus it tastes good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess you also decorate your food too, decorate your dishes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Cooking is an art.
It's all about, all about presentation.
People eat with their eyes.
Very much so.
That's what that's what happens first. As you.
So our consistency is pretty good there, actually. What I'm going to do now is add some nice farmer's cheddar cheese in there, some old cheddar. And not to be shy, we'll put a little bit in there. Okay. And then we just
God,
stir
no,
that in.
it wouldn't hurt for me to gain a few pounds. Now, do I stir this?
Oh yes, absolutely. Go straight into that.
So, but you've met some really interesting people since you've been in Toronto. You've had some
yes.
really big names on your show. I know.
I
Tell us
have.
about some of the people you've had on the show.
Well, I've had Mike Holmes
Right.
on my
Oh,
show.
speaking of Holmes on Holmes.
Yes, of course.
And you got on well, like One Chef One Critic.
I had Mary Walsh on my show. I was so glad to see her. It was one of those days you feel homesick, and it's like, oh my God, Mary Walsh is here. We have got to get her on my show. So off my producers go and say, Mary.
Would you?
And
Have a request.
That was at L'Oreal Fashion Week, and I was privileged enough to sit in the front row of that runway, and I have to tell you, it was the best experience of my whole adventure.
Really?
The rush I got was just I seriously thought about having a career in fashion.
Yeah. So these were like famous Canadian designers.
Yeah.
And they were showing their
was just
their latest
so much
line.
fun. It was just like, I had so
Yeah.
much fun. And I had Preston Bailey on my show, who's Oprah's event planner.
Right.
And
Preston Bailey does big weddings, like he did the
Yeah.
Trump wedding and a whole bunch of other
like
big events.
multi-million-dollar events.
Yeah.
So I was very privileged to be mentored by him.
Yes, that's great.
And he's a very lovely man, and he told me all about Oprah.
Oh, did he?
Of course.
So what's the
scoop on her.
dirt on Oprah? give us some dirt on Oprah.
He just said, she's just as lovely in person as she is. He said, actually, she's more lovely in person.
She's all natural.
Yeah.
Did he tell you about Stedman?
No.
Oh, didn't tell you about Stedman?
No, I never heard. Are they really broke up?
I don't know. That's what I was. I wanted to get that news from you.
What is going on? I don't know. Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's done, Stephen.
I'm just going to leave that to turn the stove off. Maybe actually what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lift it off, because the last thing we actually want is to overcook the fish.
That's right.
I think I'm
so many
stirring
times.
this crazy, but I don't know if that's
that's good.
Is it
That's
good?
perfect. That's
Good?
absolutely excellent.
I wanna tell folks something that I bet they don't know about you, which I know about you. You are a whiz at mathematics.
I am. And everyone is so amazed by that, because it's either you have the left side of your brain that's going crazy or the right side, and I have both. So I'm good at math. I almost have a math
It's really
degree in computer.
unusual. I would think it's unusual to find people like yourself who are into your line of work who are really good at math, because I'm really not good at math. So I was really impressed to hear this. But does being a whiz at math help you in your line of work at all?
Well, not really. As you'll probably
Not even when you're measuring and all?
As you'll probably see from the show, I'm not good with the measuring tape.
Anyway, listen, this is almost, I'm going to go get some wine now.
Okay,
so we'll
great.
have a really nice meal.
Okay.
Jeremy. He keeps talking about Jeremy,
Who's Jeremy?
Never see. I know. Who is Jeremy? I have no idea. But, he keeps saying his friend's downstairs to help choose the wine.
Oh.
Hi, Jeremy. Oh, what are you doing?
Karl, hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
Good to see you. What are you doing, of course?
Well, I borrowed a couple of your cooking books. I know it's a new year, and I realize Steve is the chef for One Chef One Critic. So what I figured
I'm
was...
really glad to hear that you
Thank you.
finally accepted that.
Well, I'm honing my
because-
culinary chops, because I figured, what if something happens to Steve? What if he gets sick, or, breaks a leg, something like that, and he can't make the show? I figured you'll need that understudy step in, so... Who better?
Well, I mean, I'm glad to see you take the initiative, but I mean, we
Perfect.
certainly haven't made any decisions yet on what we'll do if anything happens to Steve.
Well,
I don't really expect anything to happen to
Understandable.
Steve.
I'll just assume it's going to be me. So, What can I do for you this evening?
Well, Steve has prepared codfish with a poached cod with a nice cheesy sauce. We've got Ambrose Price upstairs. He's got this big show coming up on HDTV.
Excellent.
And so he wanted codfish, so that's what Steve did. So let's just get rid of these and concentrate on the wine, okay?
All right, well, I decided to do some other varietals rather than your Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, typical things people match. So, to start off, Chenin Blanc. This is South African, but Chenin Blanc is actually French varietal. Great acidity. It's kind of like Sauvignon Blanc in a way, a little bit of minerality, a little bit of herbaceousness to it. But great price, around $10.
Oh, that is a good price.
To start off.
That's a very good price.
Next up, another varietal, Pinot Grigio, very well known in Italy. Now, this Pinot Grigio happens to be from southern Italy, from Tuscany area. This is Banfi San Angelo's. Southern Italy, a little bit hotter climate, so that you're going to get a little more fruit extraction. It's going to be a little more fuller bodied than some of the northern Pinot Grigios. And then last, this is probably around $30, a little bit under, around 26, 27. Next one up, Grosset Riesling, Polish Hill. This is one of the top Rieslings out of Australia right now, and Australia has been doing a fantastic job with their Rieslings. Very similar to the French Alsatian style, a little dry, but still good minerality, great expression of terroir. Lovely wine, should go great with cod as well, but all of these will be fantastic.
And that's one of the plainest labels I've seen on a bottle of wine lately.
But you know what, don't let the label fool you. It's a fantastic product.
Well, that's right. Okay, the wine speaks for it. I'm going to try the Pinot Grigio.
Great choice.
Because I'm intrigued by this little fuller body idea.
Right. Well, anyway, Karl, I got a book for Steve. You can bring it up to him, see if he enjoys it.
Cooking for Dummies.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. All right, enjoy. Back to the reading.
Well, Ambrose, the food is ready. And where's Karl?
I don't know, but he better hurry up.
Missing him again with his friend downstairs, no doubt, Jeremy, you know, so... oh, you're here. Beautiful. The wine.
Why do you have to use that tone when you say Jeremy's name? Jeremy's a nice guy. You don't have to say Jeremy.
Sure he is.
Anyway, Jeremy recommended this wine by Banfi. It's a Pinot Grigio from southern Italy.
Oh, very nice.
And these Pinot Grigios from southern Italy have a little bit more body, so he feels that it will go well with this cod, with your cheese sauce and whatever.
Wine we put in the cheese sauce, yeah. I'm sure he'll comment on that.
Did you put wine in the cheese? Oh, yes, so you did,
Just a little bit, but...
okay.
Without poutine.
Anyway,
this looks great.
Here we go. This is a beautiful dish you put together for us, Steve.
Well, let's have a little sample. And the sauce was made with a nice shine and everything else there, and very good.
So, Ambrose, is it true that you have a personal assistant?
I do. You know what? So, I would have said no to that before, but there are people in this world who are so busy they actually need one, and I'm one of those people.
Yep.
Steve keeps complaining that he doesn't have one. He has such a big ego. I don't know. He just I'm going to make his ego bigger now because I'm going to tell you that this fish is beautiful.
Well, thank you, Karl. Thank you, Ambrose.
Now, is there a recipe that you can give us to give to our viewers on One Chef One Critic?
Well, I would have to say my favorite dish, my favorite recipe, would be my poor mother's hash brown casserole.
Sounds excellent.
Comfort food.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. It's not the healthiest thing to eat.
No, but it's good. We'll put that on our One Chef One Critic website. All you have to do is go to centraldairies.com and click on the One Chef One Critic page, and there it is, plus Steve's recipe. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thank you, Ambrose, and all the best with the decorating adventures of Ambrose Price.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
For more of Chef Steve Watson's recipes, our recommended wine lists, and guest recipes, log on to centraldairies.com. Have a recipe that you want to share with us? Send it along to onechef.onecritic@rci.rogers.com. Be sure to attach your name, address, and contact number, and you and a guest could be eligible to win a dinner for two at one of our city's finest restaurants. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600.
Save butter wrappers in the freezer to grease pans while baking.
Steve, S stands for sexy, and we've got some beautifully sexy desserts in front of us.
Absolutely.
I've got this beautiful raspberry sorbet. We've got a cheesecake here topped with blackberries, raspberries, blueberries,
Oh,
a
my
raspberry coulis. What do you have?
I got a fantastic apple tart with a caramel brush and some cinnamon ice cream.
Now, are you still in the market for a frying
A
pan?
large one with non-glaze in
Do
it.
you know where to get it?
I do, at Sanitary Products.
Yes, we're going to take you now to the restaurant division of Sanitary Products, where they also serve home cooks. And here's a guided tour. Wow, look at this deep fryer. Man, oh man, you could do some load of French fries in that one, Frank. Let me tell you. That's quite a piece of equipment. And
Yes, it
you
is.
have a lot of other large pieces of equipment here for, I guess, restaurants and institutions.
All commercial applications on this side.
Mamma mia, what pizzas you could make with that one. Now, you have other things here, Frank, which could be used by the home cook, correct?
Absolutely.
And I think I saw some over here. Let's check it out.
Sure.
And some interesting things here. Look at this. Tongs of every size and description. I feel like Edward Scissorhands. And Frank, some really interesting things here for the home cook. Like, for example, this rolling pin.
Yes, pure hardwood. And heavy duty.
That's going to last somebody a long time.
Long time.
How much would that go for?
I'd say $32, $33.
And well worth it because it lasts. Now, you've got, I noticed, different size ice cream scoops.
And the
This is-
color of the handle
Yeah.
dictates the portion size of the cup. So this would be roughly an ounce, 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces, and this would be about 1 3/4 ounces.
And one thing here, Frank, which is interesting, what's that?
That's a bagging scoop for French fries.
Okay.
Use it
Yeah.
right hand or left hand.
Cool. Okay, there we go. Now, there's a wall over here with some fabulous looking utensils. I want to check that out.
Let's go.
They've got vegetable peelers and can openers. Everybody needs a can opener. Cores, if you want to core fruit. Spatulas of every size. Spoons, of course. Everybody needs spoons and ladles. All kinds of things on this wall. These pots are, well, they're quite large. You could put quite a load of soup bones in one of these.
Yes, you certainly can.
We've got aluminum up top and stainless steel down here.
That's right.
Now, I want to ask you about the frying pans over here. I noticed that about half of them are coated. Tell me about the coating on these pans.
Well, it's a DuPont coating, and many chefs today do actually prefer to use a coated frying pan. It's a much quicker release. You don't need to use as much grease or as much oil, and generally speaking, they give fantastic results.
Good. Now, no chef can be a chef without a good knife, correct?
That's true.
And I know you've got some beauties. Let's take a look at them.
Okay. Karl Henkel's is probably the most recognizable brand of commercial knives in the world.
It is a very beautiful product, and you were telling me a quality knife like this is a knife that really you don't need to sharpen very often.
No, that's quite correct. If you treat the knife properly, if you store it properly, if you steel it, for example, after each use, much like in this manner, then you can go years without having to sharpen that knife. If for some reason a knife gets damaged, obviously it has to be sharpened, but otherwise just quick steel, takes off the nicks, scratches, and you have a sharp knife again.
So while a knife like this may seem to be a bit expensive at $100, for example, approximately, it's well worth it in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I found this really big knife, Frank, which I'm going to go use now and chop some vegetables or something. Thanks very much, Frank Murphy.
You're most welcome.
Steve, best cheesecake I've ever had, I think.
It was beautiful. My apple tart was with that
I want
caramel
to thank
drizzle.
everybody here at S for having us down, and we also want to thank Ambrose for being on our show and that tour of Sanipro. How about those knives?
The knives were fantastic.
Beautiful knives.
You never got me the frying pan though.
Well, we'll see about the frying pan later.
Yeah, I'll have to go there.
Thanks for being with us, folks, for this edition of
One Chef.
One Critic. Spinach and polenta at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just what I...
Save butter wrappers in the freezer to grease pans while baking.
Save spyglass butter wrappers. I was going to say. Spyglass butter wrappers.
I'm going to have to send him over to the old country to really get that accent right.